I'm going to go through a few things, and then I'll let you guys work. Biggest thing here, first page, you see a lot of the exponent properties rules that we talked about all the way back on the first day. So a lot of those are things that you're going to need to be able to do. And what we talked about on those is that a lot of those are not real lengthy questions, right? But you got to make sure you know the rule and apply the rule correctly and things like that. So let's look at one like number 4. There's not a lot that needs to be done on some of these. So if I look at one like number 4, there's nothing to be combined here, right? Because 5, A, and D are all different. But what's the only thing that I can do to simplify this? What can we not have in our answer? Negative exponent. So how are we going to get rid of that negative exponent? Move it to the bottom. Okay, so B would be the one that fits that the best. We just got to move it to the bottom. Now, saying that, and I don't have any control over the way they express some of these answers, but first thing that we would do here on number 8 is I would take n to the 8th and raise it to the negative 1 power. What are we going to do with 8 and negative 1? We're going to multiply it, okay? So that would be n to the negative 8. Okay, and then there's a couple of different things that you could do here. But, I mean, like one thing you could do is you could move this to the bottom, but then my answer, the way they express it, we always say don't leave your answer in negative exponents, and then sure enough, they give us one like this. But if we are multiplying two n's like this, we can add the exponents together, which is n to the negative 6th. And typically, we would move that to the bottom and write our answer like this. Okay? But that doesn't show up here. And so the one that's the closest to the answer is n to the negative 6. Okay? I hate that they leave it like that, because I've been telling you guys don't ever leave an answer with negative exponents, and then sure enough, they leave an answer with negative exponents as one of the choices. So if you were to write 1 over n to the 6th over here, I would be okay with that. But if you write C as your answer, I would be okay with that too, because 1 over n to the 6th is not one of my choices. So either one of those. And more than likely, it'll be like that again on the test tomorrow, because the program is generated the same way. And so just giving you a heads up on something like that. Okay, page 2, once again, a lot of exponent rule questions. Degree, finding out the degree, sum, difference, FOIL. Here it says the distributive property, but on number 16, you could just do FOIL. We talked about how FOIL really is the distributive property, but you're doing it multiple times. So if you say FOIL, that's okay. But you can only do FOIL when it's 2 terms and 2 terms. You can't do FOIL every single time. But on number 16, if you think of it as FOIL, that's okay. Okay, there are a few times where you're going to have to do synthetic division on here. So on this one, what we're looking for, and this is where we talked about that remainder theorem, we're going to go through synthetic division, and we're going to put 4 in the box. And we're going to figure out what our remainder is. Okay, this is the one time you don't do the opposite. If it was x plus 4, then I do the opposite. But when it's just 4, then we're going to go through synthetic division with 4. And your answer, the 4 choices down there, will be what you get for the remainder. So if your remainder is not one of those 4, then you got to go back and check your work. Okay, then you have addition, you have subtraction, you have some more simplifying, you have FOIL again, a little bit of everything from there. On 24, we talked about one like this, and whenever we see one like this, 7x minus 2 squared. What's the first thing that I should do when I see that?
Set it, or put another one of them out.
Distribute the exponent.
Do what?
Distribute the exponent.
Okay, not quite. But we do one,
You do two.
you do two of them, right? Yeah. Because it's squared, we're going to do 7x minus 2 times itself. Just remember what it means to be squared. Squared means we're going to take something times itself. And that's why we want to write it out twice, because if I did distribute the exponent, then I would be missing out on the outside and the inside part of the problem. Okay, so setting it up and rewriting it is pretty beneficial, and then it's just a FOIL problem. Okay, I will not make you do a long division problem. If you want to do long division, you can do long division. Okay, but it just says divide, so you can do synthetic or long division. Okay, same thing on 27. Anytime it says divide, and you're dividing by a binomial, then you can either do synthetic division or long division. I don't care which way you go. Remember on this one, if you do use synthetic division, then you're going to put -2 in the box, because it's x plus 2, and so you'll put -2 in the box. So if they just give me a number all by itself, that's the number that goes in the box. If they give me a factor, like x plus 2, then it's going to be the opposite of that. Okay.
Mr. Reed,
Yeah. That's
wait, so it says, what is a simpler form of the following expression? So do we solve it, or do we?
which one? Yeah, I don't really like the directions that they had. So yeah, it's just evaluate or simplify it. Yeah. Which means FOIL it or multiply or add or subtract or whatever it is, because it has that same directions on a lot of them. So yeah, just do the multiplication or whatever operation you got. Yeah, yeah. Okay, I'm gonna let you guys work. I'll